This is Sports Talk with Steve Jones. We're doing a series of story time with Steve. Did a couple this week so far as we get into number 3 here with Steve.
Yes, here we go. All right. I take everyone back into the Wayback Machine of the 80s. There was one point at the end of the 84 season where Penn State lost its last 17 games, and then they lost their opener to Cleveland State. So it's an 18-game losing streak. They then broke the streak. I did all these games, so okay. So I know what I'm talking about here. And they beat David Robinson and Navy in Rec Hall 66-63. And Robinson had a good game. He had 24 points, the whole deal, right? But Penn State won the game 66-63. That was a big win for them. The next year, they have to make the return trip to Annapolis to play Navy at Halsey Fieldhouse. Needless to say, David Robinson is a year older. Dave Wojcik's on the team. Vernon Butler. Not a bad Navy team to go with, obviously, a year older David Robinson. Penn State had won the game the year before, 66-63. Needless to say, they're waiting for Penn State. So we go into Halsey Fieldhouse. And Robinson has 27 points, a dozen rebounds, and 9 block shots. I think most of them were flat-footed. And Navy won the game 103-50. Yeah, 53 points. Back in those days, I had to go down with a tape recorder to do the post-game show. We didn't have live hookups, and I'd run it back up to the booth. So now I go down thinking, what the heck am I going to ask about this one? So I go into the locker room, and there's Bruce Parkhill. And Bruce looks around and goes, Steve, I don't want to do this here. And he says, we got to find another spot. And I said, okay. So we go out, and the hallway's relatively dark, so we make a turn, another turn, and all of a sudden there's a door. Open the door. It's the bathroom. And Bruce is just shaking his head, and he takes the microphone. You know, he didn't rip it out of my hands. He just took the microphone. He holds it over the toilet. He goes, play that back. That's how I feel. So then we have to fly back. And we had a charter to take us from Annapolis back to State College. Now, this is okay. So we're getting on the plane, and we have one of those really effervescent flight attendants. Hi, how you doing? Hi. And these guys, I mean, they just lost. I mean, like, it was bad. They're all hanging their heads down to their knees. I mean, they're tired, and it was not good. And she looks around, she says, what's wrong with everybody? So I spoke up, and all I said was, well, it didn't go well tonight. That's all I said. She looks at me, she says, are you the coach? I said, God, no. She said, oh, really? She says, where's the coach? And now, at this point, Bruce he always flew in the back of the plane, so I pointed to the back. And he said, well, he's sitting back there. She walks up to Bruce, and she says, Coach, I heard you lost. How badly did you lose? I said, they're like, oh, you got to be kidding me. And Bruce, without skipping a beat, looks up at her. He says, it's kind of like when you guys have a crash. Oh, my goodness. I hope you enjoyed that. Another story time with Steve.
That is another story time with Steve. We'll have another one tomorrow here on Sports Talk with Steve Jones.